The doctor's words slammed into me like a runaway truck. Ava, your pregnancy is high risk. You need complete bed rest. My hands gripped the cold edge of the examination table, my knuckles whitening as I tried to process it. 7 months pregnant, and my world was suddenly teetering on the edge. My name's Ava Reynolds, and this was the moment everything I'd built started to crack. I grew up in a modest Atlanta neighborhood where my mom worked double shifts at a diner to keep the lights on. I clawed my way through college on scholarships, majoring in marketing with dreams of making it big. That's where I met Henry Warren, the charming son of Atlanta's elite Warren family. He was all easy smiles and promises of a future together, and I fell hard. We married 5 years ago, and I thought I'd found my happily ever after. But marrying into the Warrens meant living under the shadow of Evelyn, my mother-in-law, a Southern matriarch who ruled with an iron grip disguised as charm. Evelyn sat in the corner of the exam room, her designer purse perched on her lap like a trophy. She'd insisted on coming to every appointment, claiming it was family duty. But I knew better. She was keeping tabs on me, making sure I stayed in line. "The Warren Family Foundation Gala is next week," she said, her voice smooth as sweet tea, but sharp underneath. "We've hosted it for decades. It's tradition, Ava. You can't miss it." Dr. Rachel Nguyen, my OB-GYN, didn't even look up from her chart. "With all due respect, Mrs. Warren, Ava's health and her baby's life come first. This isn't negotiable." Rachel was a force, small but fierce, with a no-nonsense vibe honed from years of fighting to be taken seriously as an Asian American woman in medicine. I liked her immediately. I turned to Henry, my husband, sitting beside me, his hazel eyes flicking nervously between me and his mother. "Henry, please," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, begging for him to back me up for once. He shifted in his chair, tugging at his tie. "Maybe we can find a middle ground," he said weakly. "Ava could show up for just a bit, make an appearance. Right, Mom?" "Absolutely not," Rachel snapped, her pen pausing mid-note. "Stress could trigger early labor. We're already dealing with complications, high blood pressure, gestational diabetes. This isn't a game." Evelyn waved a manicured hand, her diamond rings catching the light. "In my day, women carried on, Ava. We didn't fuss over every little thing. You'll be fine. Think of what people will say if the Warren family's daughter-in-law skips the gala. The whispers, the gossip." My heart monitor started beeping faster, a shrill warning that matched the panic rising in my chest. "Evelyn," I started, my voice shaking. "This isn't about appearances. It's always about appearances." She cut me off, her eyes narrowing. "The Warrens have a reputation to uphold." Rachel stepped in, her voice like steel. "Everyone out. Now. Except Ava." Once the door clicked shut, she checked my vitals, her hands steady, but her face tight with concern. "Your blood pressure's spiking. This is exactly what we're trying to avoid." "I know," I whispered, tears burning my eyes. "But you don't get it. The Warrens, they're obsessed with their image. Henry's never stood up to his mom. Not once." Rachel's eyes softened. "What about keeping your baby alive? That's what matters." A knock interrupted us. Henry poked his head in. "Mom's upset. She says we're overreacting." I stared at him, my heart sinking. "Overreacting? Henry, our baby could die." He ran a hand through his hair, a nervous tick I used to find charming. "Look, what if we get you a wheelchair for the gala? You could sit quietly, make everyone happy." "Everyone except me and our daughter," I said, my voice bitter. "You're choosing your mother's gala over us." Rachel stepped between us. "Mr. Warren, your wife needs rest, not stress. I'm ordering bed rest, effective immediately. Any deviation could be catastrophic." Henry's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then at me. "Mom's waiting in the car. She says we need to talk about this at home." Something inside me broke. "There's nothing to talk about," I said, my voice steady despite the tears. "I'm not going home. I'm staying with Keisha tonight." Henry's face reddened. "You can't just walk away." "Watch me." I turned to Rachel. "Can you help me get to my friend's place?" "You're being unreasonable," Henry said, his voice rising. Mom will never forgive this. I met his gaze, my heart pounding but my resolve firm. And I'll never forgive you for making me choose between our baby's life and your mother's social calendar. Rachel called for a wheelchair. As the nurse wheeled me out, I saw Evelyn's sleek BMW idling outside, Henry hurrying toward it like a scolded child. My hand rested on my belly, feeling my daughter's faint kicks. "It's just you and me now, little one," I whispered. "And I'll always choose you." Keisha's guest room became my refuge. Her small Atlanta apartment, tucked above the women's shelter she ran, was cluttered with books and bright artwork, a stark contrast to the Warrens' sterile mansion. Keisha and I had been friends since college, where we bonded over late-night study sessions and shared dreams of making a difference. She'd escaped her own controlling family years ago, which made her the perfect person to turn to now. Every morning, I woke to a barrage of texts from Henry. At first, they were pleading, then angry, then cold. The latest one, though, hit like a punch. "Mom says if you're not home by tonight, don't come back at all." I sat at Keisha's kitchen table, my untouched coffee growing cold, staring at the words. Keisha slid into the chair across from me, her braids pulled back, her eyes sharp with concern. "Another ultimatum from the Warren duo?" I showed her the message. She scoffed, her voice dripping with disdain. "He's really doubling down, huh?" "7 years," I said, my hand resting on my belly, feeling my daughter's kicks. 7 years of marriage, and this is what it comes to. The doorbell buzzed. Keisha checked her security camera and cursed under her breath. "It's Henry. Want me to tell him to get lost?" I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "No. I need to do this." Henry stormed in the moment Keisha opened the door, his usually polished appearance replaced by wrinkled jeans and messy hair. "Enough, Ava," he said, his voice tight. "You're acting like a child. Come home." Childish. I struggled to stand, my pregnancy making every move heavy. "I'm trying to keep our baby alive, Henry." He waved a hand dismissively. "Mom talked to her friends at the country club. Their daughters went to events pregnant, and they were fine." Keisha snorted. "Because they didn't have high-risk pregnancies, you genius." "Stay out of this," Henry snapped, his eyes flashing. "This is between me and my wife." "Ex-wife," I said quietly. The room went still. Henry stared at me, his face paling. "What did you say?" "I've been thinking all week," I said, my voice growing stronger. "You've never chosen me over your mother. Not once. Remember our wedding? Evelyn changed everything, the venue, my dress, even the guest list. You let her. And when I got that marketing job in Charlotte, the one that could have set me up for life, you said no because Evelyn needed her Sunday brunches." "That's not fair," Henry said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Not fair?" I stepped closer, my anger giving me strength. "The doctor said this pregnancy could kill me, Henry. Our daughter could die. And all you care about is your mother's gala." He ran a hand through his hair, frustration etched in every line of his face. "Mom's friend is a doctor. She says, 'Get out,'" I said, the words spilling out before I could stop them. I yanked off my wedding ring and set it on the table. "I'm done fighting your mother for my husband's loyalty." "Ava, don't," Henry said, his voice softening, that charming tone he used to smooth things over. "Think about the baby. She needs both parents." "She needs to be alive first," Keisha cut in, crossing her arms. Henry's face hardened. "Fine. Stay here with your friend. But when you come crawling back, I won't," I said, my voice steady. "I'm filing for divorce." The words hung heavy, like a storm cloud bursting. Henry's expression cycled through shock, anger, then disbelief. "Mom will never allow this." "Your mother doesn't control me anymore," I said. "And neither do you." He stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. My legs buckled, but Keisha caught me, guiding me to the couch. "You did good, Ava," she said, her voice soft but firm. "Real good." My phone buzzed, Evelyn calling. I declined and blocked both their numbers. "What now?" I asked, feeling both terrified and free. Keisha squeezed my hand. Now we get you a lawyer. A shark. And then we focus on bringing that little girl into the world." I nodded, feeling my daughter move inside me. For the first time in years, I could breathe. "They won't make this easy," I said. Keisha grinned, her eyes glinting. "Good thing we don't do easy. We do right." 2 years later, I stood in my office overlooking downtown Atlanta, sunlight glinting off the skyline. My daughter, Ruby, now 7, was sprawled on the floor, building a tower of colorful blocks in the play corner we'd set up. My life had changed in ways I couldn't have imagined. I was no longer the scared, pregnant woman begging for her husband's support. I was Ava Reynolds, CEO of the Rising Mothers Foundation, a nonprofit helping women navigate high-risk pregnancies. The journey hadn't been easy. After leaving Henry, I leaned on Keisha, who'd turned her shelter into my temporary home. She wasn't just a friend. She became my co-founder, her social work expertise shaping our mission. Dr. Rachel Nguyen, who'd fought for me in that exam room, joined as our medical advisor, ensuring every woman we helped got the care I'd nearly lost. Marcus Tate, a retired entrepreneur who'd taken me under his wing, guided me through the chaos of starting a nonprofit. His own story of surviving corporate betrayal gave me the courage to keep going. "Ruby, that tower's amazing," I said, smiling as she added another block, her tongue poking out in concentration. Keisha burst through the door, waving her tablet. "We did it, Ava. Forbes wants us in their 40 under 40. They're calling us the lifeline for high-risk mothers." Ruby abandoned her blocks, running to Keisha. "Auntie Keisha, did you bring candy?" "Better." Keisha pulled out a pack of modeling clay. "But only if you promise not to stick it on Mommy's desk again." "Promise." Ruby grabbed the clay and scampered back to her corner. "You're spoiling her," I teased, gathering my notes for our investor meeting, says the woman who got her a mini desk. Keisha shot back, grinning. Marcus appeared in the doorway, his gray suit impeccable. "Ladies, 5 investors waiting in the conference room. Big players. Also, Ava, you got a message." My phone buzzed. The name on the screen stopped me cold. Evelyn Warren. The message was short. "Annual Warren Foundation Gala next weekend. Your presence is requested. Ruby too. Time to mend fences." "Speak of the devil," Keisha muttered, reading over my shoulder. "Delete it," I said, but Marcus cleared his throat. "Might be related to that Business Journal article about our expansion," he said. 3 new centers across Georgia, major funding. They probably want a piece of it. "Mommy." Ruby piped up, molding her clay. "Is that about Grandma Evelyn? Can we go? She has chocolate fountains." My heart twisted. I'd never badmouthed Evelyn or Henry to Ruby, sticking to supervised visits twice a year as per our custody agreement. "We'll see, baby," I said, forcing a smile. My assistant poked her head in. "Dr. Nguyen's here for the advisory meeting." Rachel walked in, her calm presence grounding me as always. "I saw Evelyn's car in the lot," she said. "What's she doing here?" "She's here," Keisha and I said in unison. "Security stopped her at reception," Marcus said. "Should I have them send her away?" I looked at Ruby, happily shaping clay, then at the empire we'd built, a foundation that had saved hundreds of women from situations like mine. "No," I said. "Let her up. It's time she saw what I've built without her." Keisha squeezed my shoulder. "Need backup?" "Always." I turned to Rachel. "Can you take Ruby for ice cream in the break room?" "Ice cream." Ruby cheered, packing up her clay. Minutes later, Evelyn swept into my office, her blonde hair perfectly styled, her designer dress screaming old money. "Ava, darling," she said, air-kissing the space near my cheek. You've gone corporate." "Evelyn," I said, staying seated behind my desk. "What do you want?" "Can a grandmother check on her family?" Her smile was as fake as her pearls. "You mean the family you tried to destroy during the divorce?" Keisha said, crossing her arms. Evelyn's smile tightened. "Old news. I'm here to offer an olive branch. The gala would be perfect for a family reunion. Maybe even a partnership between our foundations." "Partnership?" I laughed. "Your foundation throws parties for Atlanta's elite. Mine saves lives." Times change, Evelyn said, her voice syrupy. Your success is impressive. Henry always said you had potential. How is my ex-husband? I asked, keeping my tone even. He misses you, she said, something flickering in her eyes. Ruby needs her family together. Ruby is all the family she needs, I said, standing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have investors waiting. Don't be hasty, Evelyn said, her voice sharpening. The gala could benefit everyone. The threat was subtle but clear. I smiled, remembering the woman I used to be. Terrified, compliant. Not anymore. Send me the invitation, Evelyn. I'll think about it. As she left, Keisha whistled. She's plotting something. Obviously, I said. Question is what? The Warren Family Foundation Gala was everything I remembered. Crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, and fake smiles as far as the eye could see. Keisha stood beside me at the entrance of the Atlanta Marriott, both of us in dresses that screamed success, not submission. Mine was a deep emerald gown, a far cry from the pastel dresses Evelyn used to pick for me. Ready? Keisha whispered, adjusting her gold clutch. Born ready, I said, smoothing my dress. Ruby's with the sitter, so no guilt trips tonight. Evelyn spotted us immediately, swooping in like a hawk in Chanel. Ava, darling, you came? She glanced at Keisha, her smile tightening. And you brought your friend. Business partner, I corrected. Co-founder of the foundation you're so curious about. Yes, well, Evelyn said, linking her arm through mine, steering me away from Keisha. Someone's been dying to see you. Henry stood by the bar, handsome as ever in a tailored tux, but somehow less imposing. His eyes widened when he saw me. Ava, he said, his voice soft. You look incredible. Success does that, I said, taking a champagne flute from a waiter. Your mom said you wanted to talk. I've been following your foundation, he said, stepping closer. What you've built, it's amazing. Funny how that happened after I stopped letting people control me, I said, my tone sharp. He winced. I deserve that. But, Ava, I've changed. Seeing you tonight, remembering what we had. Henry. Evelyn cut in, her smile calculated. Show Ava the rooftop garden. The city lights are stunning. I recognized the setup, but followed anyway. Better to face this head-on. The rooftop was empty, fairy lights twinkling against the Atlanta skyline. Henry leaned against the railing, loosening his tie. Ruby talks about you all the time after her visits, he said. She misses having both parents. Don't, I said, my voice like ice. Don't use our daughter to manipulate me. It's not manipulation, he said, his voice pleading. I want our family back. I was wrong, Ava. I see that now. Watching you build this foundation, helping other women. I should have supported you. But you didn't, I said. You chose your mother. I want to make it right. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. There it is, I said, laughing bitterly. The real reason for this reunion. Your family business is failing, isn't it? His silence confirmed it. Evelyn's voice cut through as she joined us. Ava, I've been telling everyone about your foundation. Our friends want to collaborate. Collaborate? I raised an eyebrow. Or take over? Her smile didn't waver. Don't be defensive, darling. We're family. No, we're not, I said. We stopped being family when you threatened to take Ruby if I didn't give Henry custody. Old mistakes, Evelyn said, waving a hand. Let's move forward together. Together, Henry echoed, reaching for me again. Keisha appeared behind me, her timing perfect. Everything okay? Just peachy, I said. Evelyn and Henry want to use our foundation to save their sinking ship. That's crude, Evelyn said, her facade slipping. But true, Keisha said, crossing her arms. Henry stepped forward. Ava, we can make this work. If you say you love me, I'll dump this champagne on your tux, I warned. You don't love me, Henry. You love what I've become. Successful, powerful, everything your mother said I'd never be. Don't be dramatic, Evelyn snapped. This could benefit everyone. Unless you'd rather we revisit custody. the old Ava would have crumbled.
Not now.
Try it, I said, smiling. My lawyers would love to show the judge your old threats. And the recordings from tonight. Keisha patted her clutch, winking. Evelyn's face paled. Henry looked sick. Now, if you'll excuse me, I said, setting down my glass, I have a daughter to kiss goodnight. Feel free to come to our fundraiser. You can watch from the audience. As Keisha and I walked away, I heard Evelyn hiss, "Do something." Henry stayed silent, just like always. Some things never change. But I had, and that was everything. The morning after the gala, I sat in my car outside the old house Henry and I once shared. Ruby's weekend visitation with Henry was starting soon, and something about last night's showdown had pulled me here. My phone buzzed. Keisha. "Tell me you're not parked outside that house having a moment," she said. "How'd you know?" I laughed, then sobered. "You won't believe this, but the Warrens Company is under SEC investigation for fraud."
What?
Keisha's voice rose. My contact at the SEC called. Evelyn's been cooking the books for years. Henry either knew or was too clueless to notice. A tap on my window made me jump. Henry stood there looking worried. I rolled down the window. "Ava, you okay? You've been out here a while." "I'll call you back," I told Keisha. "Don't do anything I wouldn't," she teased before hanging up. Henry shifted nervously. "You're early for Ruby's drop-off. Want to come in? Mom's not here." Against my better judgment, I followed him inside. The house was unchanged, every piece of furniture screaming Evelyn's taste. "Coffee," he offered. "Why didn't you tell me about the SEC investigation?" I asked. He froze, coffee pot in hand. "How did you? Does it matter? Were you going to use Ruby to save your family's reputation again?" "It's not like that," he said, setting the pot down. "Mom made mistakes, but we can fix it with your foundation's help." "Stop." I held up a hand. "You haven't changed, Henry. You're still choosing your mother." He slumped into a chair. "You don't understand. This scandal will ruin us. Mom's talking about extreme measures." A chill ran down my spine. "What measures?" "She found old medical records from your pregnancy. She thinks she can spin them to prove you were unstable, get custody of Ruby to force a merger before the SEC goes public." My phone buzzed. Keisha, with an email from Evelyn to her lawyers, outlining the plan. "She's been scheming for months," I said, showing Henry the email. The gala, the reunion, it was all a setup. He read it, his face paling. "I didn't know about this part, Ava. I swear." "But you knew the rest." I stood, my voice steady. "You know what's funny? Last night, I wondered for a second what it'd be like to try again for Ruby. But you're still the same coward who chose his mother over his wife and child." "We can still fix this," he pleaded. "No, we can't." I pulled out my phone and called Keisha. "Send the documents to the SEC. All of them." Henry lunged for my phone. "What documents?" "The ones proving your mother's fraud. The real records, not the fake ones she's been showing investors. And the recordings from last night, where you both admitted everything." "You can't," he whispered. "I can," I said. "Because this time, I'm choosing Ruby." Keisha texted confirmation. The documents were sent. Hours later, the news broke. Warren Family Foundation accused of massive fraud. Evelyn's empire was crumbling. That evening, in my office, Ruby tugged my sleeve. "Mom, why is Grandma Evelyn on TV crying?" Before I could answer, Evelyn stormed in, mascara streaking her face, followed by a flustered security guard. "I'm sorry, Ms. Reynolds," she pushed past. "It's okay," I said. "Ruby, go with Tom for hot chocolate." Once they left, Evelyn unleashed. "How dare you? After everything we did for you." "Did for me?" I laughed. "Like threatening to take my daughter? Falsifying records." "You ungrateful," she started, but Henry appeared, looking worn. "Mom, stop," he said. "This isn't helping." "Oh, look who's here," I said. "Saving Mommy again?" "I'm trying to talk sense into both of you," he said. "The SEC's freezing our assets. The foundation's done." "Your foundation," I corrected.
Innistriving.
Evelyn collapsed into a chair, her perfect image shattered. We can fix this if you say it's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Rachel entered, her voice sharp. Like how you tried to bribe me to forge Ava's records. The FBI found those emails, by the way. The FBI? Henry whispered. Fraud across state lines, I said. Blackmail. Falsified records. Should I go on? You're enjoying this, Evelyn spat. No, I said, my voice soft. I pity you. You destroyed your son's marriage, endangered your granddaughter, and lost everything for control. I still have my son, she said, reaching for Henry. He pulled away.
No, Mom.
Not this time.
He turned to me.
I saw the emails. You planned to use Ruby as leverage. My daughter. I was protecting our name, Evelyn hissed. You were protecting yourself, Henry said. And I let you hurt Ava, risk Ruby's life, because I was too weak. FBI agents appeared outside, talking to security. Rachel nodded. That's for you, Evelyn. This isn't over, she threatened, but her voice wavered. It is, Henry said, opening the door. Agents, she's here. As they led Evelyn away, she kept her head high, even in handcuffs. Henry stayed behind.
Ava, I'm sorry.
It's too late, but I'm sorry.
It is too late, I said.
You can see Ruby during supervised visits once this is sorted. She loves you, Henry. Don't make her pay for your mother's sins. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I did love you. I know, I said. You just loved your mother more. After he left, Rachel touched my shoulder. You okay? Better than okay, I said, watching the news on my office TV. This might help other women stand up to their Evelyns. If it doesn't, your foundation will, Rachel said. Ruby peeked in, a hot chocolate mustache on her face. Is it safe, Mom? I opened my arms, and she ran to me. Always safe with me, baby. Did Grandma Evelyn do something bad? She asked. She did, I said, hugging her tight. But sometimes bad things happen so good things can grow. The conference hall was electric for our foundation's gala. We'd sold out weeks ago, fueled by Evelyn's trial making headlines. Keisha adjusted my microphone. Biggest crowd yet. Guess who's in the front row? I peeked, Henry and his lawyer, with a reporter. Hoping for a public forgiveness? I muttered. They're out of luck, Keisha said, grinning. Rachel rushed backstage. Evelyn's sentencing is tomorrow. Perfect timing for our expansion announcement. The lights dimmed. Marcus squeezed my shoulder. Showtime. I stepped onto the stage to roaring applause. Henry sat in the front, looking older, worn. 7 years ago, I sat in a doctor's office, pregnant and terrified, while my mother-in-law demanded I risk my life and my daughter's for gala. I had a choice, conform or fight. I fought. I chose life. And from that, Rising Mothers was born. The room was silent, hanging on every word. We've helped over 1,000 women escape toxic families. We've given them medical care, legal support, and hope. Today, we're announcing our future. I clicked the remote, a U.S. map lighting up behind me. Thanks to our donors, we're opening 20 new centers, staffed by doctors like Rachel Nguyen, who saved my life by standing up to family pressure. The crowd erupted. Rachel wiped tears backstage. But there's more, I continued. We're launching a legal defense fund to help women fight custody battles against controlling in-laws who weaponize family ties. Henry stood abruptly, but his lawyer pulled him back. My story made headlines, I said, locking eyes with him. Not because it's unique, but because it had consequences. My ex-mother-in-law faces sentencing tomorrow. Her real punishment? Losing her family through her own actions. To every woman facing impossible choices, you're not alone. To every mother told to sacrifice her health for appearances, your life matters. To those who enable abuse by staying silent, your time is up. The standing ovation lasted minutes. At the reception, Ruby ran up. Mom, I stayed awake for your whole speech. I laughed, hugging her. That's my girl. Henry left early, Keisha said quietly. I kissed Ruby's head. He realized he can't fix this with charm. A young woman approached. Ms. Reynolds, your foundation helped my sister with her high-risk pregnancy. Her in-laws were awful. She named her daughter Ava. I smiled, tears welling. How is she? She had twins last month, the woman said. Both healthy. More women shared their stories, each one a survivor of their own Evelyn, their own Henry. Marcus raised a champagne glass. To consequences. To choosing yourself, Keisha added. Rachel joined in. To all of us. I looked at Ruby, my friends, and the room full of survivors. To healing, I said. The next morning, as sunlight poured into my office, I reviewed the final papers. Evelyn's sentencing, 8 years for fraud, dominated the news. My phone buzzed. Henry, can we talk in person? I hesitated, then replied. Foundation lobby, 15 minutes. Keisha poked her head in. You sure about this? No, I admitted. But it feels right. Henry was waiting, looking humbler in jeans and a plain shirt. Thanks for meeting me, he said, pulling out an envelope. I found this in Mom's study. It's from your pregnancy. My hands shook as I opened it, a letter I'd written to Evelyn, begging for support. At the bottom, her notes, manipulative, attention-seeking, trying to control Henry. She never showed me, Henry said. She said you didn't try to explain. Would it have mattered? I asked. He ran a hand through his hair. Maybe not then. But now, I'm trying to be the father Ruby deserves. I sold Mom's house, liquidated everything. The money's going to repay the people she defrauded. Rachel approached. Ava, the new mothers group is asking for you. 1 SEC, I said, turning to Henry. Was there more? Yes, he said. I want to donate what's left of my trust fund to your foundation. No strings, no credit. Just trying to do something right. Before I could answer, a woman called out. Ava, my sister's here with her twins. Want to meet them? Henry stepped back. I should go. Wait, I said, touching his arm. Want to see what your donation will support? He nodded, following me to the room where new mothers shared their stories. This is strength, I said softly. Not mansions or galas. Just women lifting each other up. I see it now, Henry said, his voice breaking. Ruby burst in, waving a science project. Mom, I got an A. Oh, hi, Dad. Are you here for the bad stuff again? No, sweetheart, he said, kneeling. I'm here to help, like your mom. Keisha, Marcus, and Rachel joined us. Board meeting in 5, Keisha said. Expansion details. Henry stood. I should go. Thanks, Ava, for showing me what family really is. Ruby grabbed his hand. Dad, will you come to my science fair? Mom says it's okay. I'd love to, he said, his eyes bright with hope. As he left, Keisha raised an eyebrow. Another chance? Not like he wants, I said. But maybe a better way for Ruby. The room filled with more women, more stories, more triumph. This was my legacy. Not revenge, but redemption. Ruby tugged my hand. Mom, can we get ice cream with Dad after my science fair? We'll see, baby, I said, hugging her. But first, want to help me welcome some new moms? She beamed, grabbing welcome packets. This was winning. Not destroying enemies, but building something so beautiful their destruction didn't matter. My foundation started as my rebellion. It became my truth. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you. You've walked with me through fear, betrayal, and victory. If my story moved you, hit that subscribe button and join us, where every struggle becomes a story of strength, hope, and a new beginning. Keep fighting for your truth, and I'll see you at the finish line.